What did you learn from the experience of living through Alzheimer's?
I think my personality flaw is lack of patience, and I think I'm a more patient person now. I was always one that would have 5 million things going on at the same time, and lots of projects, and I've learned to be extremely patient. I was always patient with my animals, but not always patient with human beings. They should know better, you know, that strong kind of emphasis on things. And I've learned patience. And I've learned that we don't have a long time on this earth. I never would believe that Glenn is gone from me. It happened too fast, and we were married 54 years, knew each other 55 years. And that's so short. I never got it right. I felt like I always had to improve.
Well, I was wondering, so when, you know, you say you sometimes felt that you fell short or that you didn't have it right, I think that must be really hard, or is hard, for people taking care of someone with Alzheimer's, feeling that they've fallen short, especially with the 24/7 demands. Sometimes patience runs thin. A person might say things that are, you know, unkind. How did you deal with times when you felt maybe that you'd fallen short or felt bad about something?
I had so little sleep for 3 years because he would get up and wander every night. My sister was an incredible help for me because she's a nurse and she works with the mentally challenged, and she helped me through all of it because she knew Glenn as long as I did. And that, I think, was my saving grace. And also, I had a very tough thing happen once, and I learned to bite my tongue, where I was dressing Glenn, and he was strong still. And he worked out 3 days, 4 days a week. So he was muscled. And I was trying to pull on his socks, and I was trying to pull on his pants, and trying to put on his knee brace. And it was tough for me. And I said to myself, I muttered under my breath, I hate this disease. And I do hate this disease. I loved him, but I hate the disease. And he looked so strange at me. And so it meant that I had to watch what I said, because I didn't know what he would pick up. It isn't like a 2-year-old toddler who is not aware of what words you're using, but might understand. You have to be careful about what you say.
Yeah, I think you don't know what somebody will understand.
That's right. It might be the moment of lucidity.
Right. Well, one of the things I love that you say in your book, I think you say you have to create a life of forgiveness. And that really struck me, because I think it can be really hard for people to forgive themselves for their own shortcomings when they're taking care of their loved one.
Oh, you get so tired. I mean, you can't go for 2 hours sleep, you know, day in and day out, 3 years. It's hard. It's very hard. And physically, and you mentioned something to me once, is that there are 90-year-old women doing this, taking care of their husbands or vice versa. And age plays a role. And it's an aging disease.
Yeah, there are great demands on the caregivers. And I think people do really need to try to be patient with themselves, you know, and getting that support from someone. I think the number one thing is having someone to talk to, because you can't any longer have the support or the understanding from the person that has the disease. And
that's the thing that I miss the most, is Glenn's mind. I just miss that mind, because he had he had a great sense of humor, and he never put people down. He had this wonderful, quick humor, and I'd have to go out of the room and think what he just said and come back in laughing. It took me a while to understand what he was, you know. And I miss that. I miss that terribly. But I think in order to get through this disease, you need to have gratitude for the tiniest things. You have to have an attitude. And the attitude has got to be positive. And honestly, I don't know how anyone can get through this without a strong belief in God, because as my mother was dying, she still was so strong in the mind, and she was a believer, and she taught me to be a believer. And without God, in her sense of there's a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things, and that's the way I was brought up. And she just helped me. Mm-hmm. And my animals, my friends, and my, family. And
you had said to me at one point that all of those things gave you a sense of meaning.
Yes.
That you felt that there was a meaning for your life, and even for this bad experience.
Right. And I needed to be responsible for them, for the people around me, so that gave me a sense of purpose too, as well as taking care of Glenn. I needed to be responsible for the way we were. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of part of trying to make things feel normal, or as normal as possible. Is, getting up, feeding the dog, those
the
kinds,
cat.
those little responsibilities can really be a blessing.
Yeah, it's true. Anything else you wanted to say about Alzheimer's?